Hello, I am Lisa Czak. For those of you who don't know me, I guide women on a healing journey to shed weight on their physical body, in addition to shedding what no longer serves them in their life. So that Tatiana, my coach, is on here. I'm nervous. Anyway, I guide women on a healing journey to shed weight and everything that no longer serves you, so you can become the woman that God intends you to be, the woman you are meant to be. In order to do that, though, I have tapped into something so fucking powerful, like it's blowing my own mind. It is literally blowing my own mind. And in order to become this woman that God intends you to become the woman that you want to be, to have everything you want in your life, to attract all that you want into your life, you must heal your unhealed wounds that you have inside of you, your trauma inside of you. Now, when I first started talking about this, my mom, she got all worked up. She's like, why are you talking about trauma? Why are you talking about unhealed wounds? You had a really nice childhood. You weren't raped. You weren't molested. You weren't abused. You weren't neglected. Which that is all true. And even my own coach, Tatiana Amico, who's on here today, said that that's what she thought I was talking about, right? Healing trauma, like traumatic events, like, acts of terrorism, rape, molestation, which, yeah, that is all trauma, right? That's trauma. I'm not saying it's not. However, my definition of trauma, yes, I have my own definition. I feel like I should be in the dictionary. Lisa's definition of trauma and unhealed wounds is a little different. And this is a clue to know if you have trauma in your life. Here are a couple clues. If you find yourself saying, you're at lunch with your friends or you're on the phone with your friends, why do I keep attracting these assholes into my life? Why do I keep attracting these guys that only want sex and then they leave me into my life? Or if you keep saying, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep having friends who I'm always there for, but they're never there for me? Or why do I keep losing weight only to find it again over and over and over? Why do I keep mindlessly eating? Why is it I do good all day and then at night I can't put down the Doritos or potato chips or gummy bears or whatever your drug of choice is? Or if you have this chatter in your brain where you're saying, I just can't believe he said that. Can you believe he said that? Can you believe he did that again? Why does he keep doing this to me? Why? Those are all clues. Those are all triggers that you have unhealed trauma inside of you. You have unhealed wounds inside of you. If you are human, which I'm assuming all of you are that are watching this today, you have trauma. No human being on this planet is immune to unhealed wounds or trauma. It just is a fact of our life. It's not about blaming anyone either, right? Which of course my mom was like, what are you saying? Are you saying I was a bad mom? No, Mom. I fucking love you. And I know you don't like when I say the F word, but I do. I had a great childhood, but I had shit happen because I'm human. I am a human being. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, just like all of you, right? So trauma is different for everyone. What is traumatic for me might not affect you at all, right? It's simply an experience in your life that evoked a visceral reaction. I'm using fancy psychology words because I am a psychologist. psychology degree. I have a psychology degree, in case you didn't know. I'm not just a trainer. I'm not just a physical trainer, okay? Before that life, I was actually a counselor. And a visceral reaction is when, you know, something happens, someone says something to you, or something happens in your life, and you feel it, right? Like a lump in your throat, or your jaw gets clenched, or your head is about to explode, right? That is a visceral reaction. So any experience in your life that evokes a visceral reaction, meaning you feel it in your body somewhere, has an emotion attached to it. Rage. I'm gonna fucking kill him, right? Rage. Then you store that in your body somewhere, perhaps in your jaw, perhaps in your neck. Or sadness. My sister-in-law died, okay? She has a 13-year-old son. He's got trauma inside of him from that. Sadness, heart, right? Maybe he's having chest pains, or just like a feeling, like someone's sitting on you. That can be grief that you store in your body. All of us have at least one story that resides in our body. Most of us have multiple stories, though, that reside in our body. So you have an experience in childhood, okay? It becomes an unhealed wound that you carry into the future. And it keeps coming back in a different form. That's why you keep attracting that asshole guy into your life. That's why you keep attracting that selfish friend into your life. That's why you keep attracting employers that don't want to pay you shit into your life. Something happened to you in your childhood that you did not heal from. You carried it into your adult life, and that is what you are attracting because you have not healed it. You have not learned the lesson that you were meant to learn from that person or that experience. And until you learn the lesson, that experience, that person is coming back in a different form. It's a gift. It's not a gift wrapped up in a shiny package with a pretty bow on top. Not that kind of gift, okay? These are the spiritual gifts. I say that your most toxic experiences, most unfavorable situations, most toxic people, right, are your greatest spiritual teachers. Once you learn that lesson, though, he, she, it will not come back in another form. You have to believe me on this. I have seen it myself. I have witnessed this myself, which is why I now do this. Before I was just simply a woman who helped other women lose weight. Okay, I was a trainer. And then I started seeing, wow, like I can apply everything I've learned in my own life, all the shit I've gone through, I can help them really not just shed the weight on their physical body, but shed all of the weight in their life, heal all of the unhealed wounds, and attract what they actually do want. So I know you might be sitting there, because I get this a lot. I still don't know what my trauma is. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Okay. Women, this is for you. Maybe men too. I don't know. I work with women though. That's who I'm talking to, you woman. Have you ever experienced not being invited to the party? Right? This is an actual experience of mine. Right? You're 12 years old, you're sitting in your classroom, because back then we could actually go to fucking class. We weren't in Zoom. And all of the girls have envelopes on. They're opening up these envelopes and, oh my God, the party's Saturday. What are you going to wear? And how are you going to do your hair? And you are the only one that did not get an envelope. You are the only one who did not get invited to the party. Raise your hand if you have ever experienced that. Post in comments if you have ever experienced anything like that. Maybe you were one of the popular girls and you didn't have that. I was not one of the popular girls. I was very shy, very awkward, and I didn't have friends growing up, believe it or not. That's trauma. That is trauma, okay? Have you ever had a party and had no one come to your party, or very few people came to your party? Have you ever had the experience of being excluded on the playground, right? Watching all the other kids at recess and their little groups, their little cliques, and you're just sitting there wishing you were anywhere else but watching all the other kids have fun on the playground. Have you ever had, I don't know if they still, God, I hope they don't do this to kids still nowadays, where they line you up, right, in gym class. They line you up on that line. It's like a blue line, right, in the gym. And then they have a captain. It's always the popular girl, right, a real jockey girl, and who's like, an Olympian athlete. And she has to pick, each captain has to pick who they want on their team. And then you're standing there last. That was me, last. And then they're even pissed off that by default, because you're the last one and you have to be on that team, right? These kids are pissed off at you. That's trauma. That's trauma. That's an unhealed wound inside of you that I guarantee is showing up in a different form in your life. Have you ever experienced being blocked, right? Now the big thing is blocking. I'm going to block you. Let's see, Laura talked about, yes, exclusion and liking me one day, then the girls coming together to rally against me the next day. Laura, you and I would have been best friends back in the day. Yes, I totally understand that. She said, have you ever had the experience of having a girl like you one day, right? And then all the girls come together and rally against you the next day. Oh yeah, I've been there. I have had that trauma. I have worked through that trauma. And in fact, Laura, that is a big reason why I almost didn't join my coaching group. Own It. Tatiana Miko is my coach. I actually talked to her before and I said, I can't fucking do this. You don't understand. Like, I don't do well in groups. I don't like groups. I've never had a good experience with other women in groups. And then she points out to me, she's like, you literally work with women all the time. Like, you work with groups of women. You speak to groups of women. I'm like, yeah, but those are my women. That's my tribe. They're aligned with me. And so it took so much courage for me just to join my coaching group that was all women. And I'm going to tell you an experience that just happened to me a couple days ago around this. So yes, Laura, I understand. And if someone doesn't answer you right away and you're worried, oh my God, they don't like me, right? Because now we have phones, okay? And it's like you text someone, oh my God, why didn't they text back? Why aren't they texting back? What's taking so long? Okay, that's just an unhealed wound, a trauma that you experienced in childhood showing up in your future, okay? When you join Babes, my 6-month coaching experience, or you join my Worthy Woman experience for 7 weeks, I help you heal those wounds so that it's not to say you're never going to be blocked again, or you're going to get an immediate response, right? You're just not going to give a shit anymore. It's going to be like, whatever, that person's not aligned with me. I don't care, right? Have you ever been ghosted and not known the reason, like we were just talking about? Have you ever, this is a big one, right at lunch. I sat alone at lunch, or I sat like at the end of the table and all the other girls are laughing and pulling out their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and their Hostess cupcakes. And I'm sitting there all alone. No one to sit with at lunch or on the bus. You guys saw Forrest Gump, right? I was Forrest Gump, basically. I got on the bus the first day of kindergarten, already having separation anxiety from my mom, and taken. That's literally what I heard. Taken. No one to sit with on the bus, okay? You can go so far back too. Have you ever been told that you were an unwanted baby? I have women that I'm working with right now who had this light bulb moment where they just don't ever feel wanted in their life. They're like, I don't feel wanted, and it doesn't make sense. And it keeps showing up, right? I get clingy in relationships, or I'm afraid people are going to leave me, or I just think that people don't want me. And yes, Maybe you were an unwanted baby. An ugly baby syndrome is real. You carry that into your life. I have the most stunning woman that I worked with, and worthy woman. I mean, statuesque, fucking drop dead gorgeous. And she's like, I'm ugly. She was told she was an ugly baby. Okay? Have you ever been teased for the way you look, for the way you talk, for the way you dress? Maybe I have one woman in Babes who didn't even realize she had an accent until she came to this country. Okay? And then all of a sudden, people are asking her, where are you from? Where's your accent? And it's like a trauma that happened. So, let's see, Laura said you were scared. Oh, she was scared in one of the coaching groups because she was worried everyone's going to be snobby towards me. Oh yeah, I had that. I was like, I'm sure everyone else is like millionaires just making millions of dollars in there. And they're going to think I'm a fraud and they're not going to like me, or they're going to like me and then they're going to not like me. And oh my God, yes, Laura, the bathroom. The first time my daughter came home and told me she ate lunch in the bathroom, I started crying because it triggered my unhealed wounds, right? I was like, what? That was really, when my daughter started school, that was really my main question with her. I didn't give a shit about learning or any of that. I cared. I was like, so who'd you eat lunch with? Who'd you play? What'd you do at recess? Who'd you play with? Because I was so afraid that she wasn't going to have anyone to play with, or that she was going to have to eat lunch in the bathroom like I did, because I was too embarrassed to eat lunch alone. So a lot of girls, post in here, women, if you're watching, or maybe girls right now going through this, right? Even though I know it's a little different because a lot of schools on Zoom. But yeah, it was just horrible, right? That's all trauma. So what this did is it created an unhealed, all of these experiences that I just listed, okay, which are very common experiences, at least with the women that are aligned with me, right? If you are a popular girl and didn't deal with this, you're probably not watching this. You're probably not aligned with me. So it created an unhealed wound inside of you, right? Causing you to store an emotion inside of your body. So it was shame. Like if you're sitting in the bathroom alone eating, that's shame, right? I always tell my women, that's like the S word. You have to go back. Like usually that's like the baseline emotion, right? It's shame. I mean, my parents didn't even know this until I started talking about this recently in my business. My parents were like, what do you mean you were bullied? What do you mean a girl spit on you? What do you mean you ate in the bathroom? Like, they had no idea. I faked it because I was ashamed. I'm not going to go running home and being like, yeah, rock, I ate in the bathroom alone today. Yeah, baby. No, I was like, yeah, it was great. I ate lunch with Susie and Jimmy and Johnny and all my other friends that I really don't have. So what happens is then in your adult life, Laura, this is probably what's happening to you right now. You get triggered, right, by a completely different person and a different experience in your adult life, causing you to react the same age as the original trauma was created. Does that make sense? I'm going to give you an example that I couldn't have planned this better. I'm serious. I love God. Thank you, God, and the universe for providing me with all these gifts. So 2 days ago, I'm in a coaching group, okay? And I hadn't heard from this one woman in the group in a while. I hadn't even seen her on Facebook, and I was actually missing her because I really liked her posts and I liked what she stood for, and I thought we had we weren't close, but we definitely had a rapport with each other, supporting, encouraging. So I went to look at her profile. I don't even know why she popped up in my head. She just did. And her profile's not there. And I'm like, well, that's very strange. So then I go to message her and I can't message her. Okay, now I'm getting worried actually, right? Now I'm actually worried about this woman because it's very strange that she's nowhere to be found. So I go to my coaching group and I say, hey, has anyone heard from, let's call her Mary, okay? Has anybody heard from Mary? I'm really concerned. Her profile is gone and I'm not able to message her and I hope she's okay. Every single other person in that group is like, oh, no, I can see her profile. I can message her. I just heard from her yesterday. Holy shit. Suddenly, I am 12-year-old Lisa sitting in the fucking classroom. Every other girl in that classroom has got an invitation to the party, but me, I'm excluded. I reacted instead of responded, right? Why doesn't she like me? What did I do? Why am I the only one that she blocked? You know, oh my God. And then everyone else is like supporting me and encouraging me. But then I'm thinking, I can't trust you because a month from now, you're probably going to block me. I mean, I started going down the rabbit hole, but doing the work that I do, I knew exactly what was happening. I knew it was a trigger, right? I knew that 12-year-old Lisa was at the steering wheel. So I immediately contacted my coaches. Yeah, I have 2 coaches and I'm about to take on the 3rd. It takes a village to heal Lisa. And I worked on it. I had to work on it. I had to like put everything else aside and go back and heal 12-year-old Lisa, who was sitting in the classroom, because I totally forgot about that. That's actually a true story, right? And in the classroom, everyone else is invited to the party but me, because that's how I felt, right? And that is the value of having a coach, so that I can immediately flip these bitches in my head. I want to learn the lesson now as quickly as possible because I don't want it showing up in another form. Hell no. Learn the lesson so it doesn't show up in another form. That doesn't mean that no one is ever going to block me again. Oh, I'm sure it's going. I hope it happens, actually. Because what that means, what I tell my babes in my 6-month coaching experience and my worthy women in my 7-week experience, when you are full on in your power, when your high beams are so fucking brilliant, they blind some people. Some people cannot handle it, and you will repel those that are not aligned with you. I'm not even saying they're toxic, right? They might not be toxic. They're just not aligned with you. And so bring it on. Unfriend, unblock. Yeah, baby, because that means that you're making space for new energy to come in, new people to come in that are aligned with you, right? So Laura says that I was always a new girl because we moved a lot growing up. Once people warmed up to me and I realized I wasn't a threat, things got better. But it always took at least a year of my life. That is so true. I can totally relate to that, Laura, because my parents moved me in my senior year. And I went to 2 different schools in my senior year. And so I didn't have any friends, and especially because I was the new girl, right? And then boys started asking me out, and then the girls were getting mad at me and hated me and jealous, and it was a whole shit show. But you're right, like it took a year. It takes like a year of your life. So that's something that you would want to go back, Laura, and heal from. You want to heal from that so that you don't take that into the future, right? And if you do happen to, I don't know what your situation is, if you ever do happen to move or you get a new job or something, you don't want this to be something that you carry into the future, that you actually attract to you. Okay, you're attracting it to you, not as a punishment. God is not, I don't know what you guys believe, but I don't believe God is a God that's saying, Lisa, I'm going to fuck you over today. I'm going to really mess with you, right? No. He gives us lessons to learn, or the universe, or the clouds, the star, whatever you believe in, sends you lessons to learn so that you can show up in your life in all your power. Okay, I'm reading these comments. So I love this. You should become a professor and teach this in college. You'd be and already are the best teacher ever. I almost became a professor, actually. I did. I had a full ride for a PhD to become a professor at the University of Minnesota. And I was going through infertility treatments. And I said, I want to have a baby now, because once that door is shut, it's slammed shut forever. And I can always go back and be a professor. So maybe I will do that one day. So Laura says, oh my God, I get it so much. Moving in those years is traumatizing. Yes, it is trauma. That's what we're talking about. Exactly. Trauma. It is traumatizing. It creates a wound, right? So every time you move, Laura, you need to go back to the very first time you ever moved and heal that. And you want to talk about, I'm going to go into this. It's going to be something I'm going to go into in my 3-day live that's coming up next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm going to help you guys. I'm going to give you 3 steps to really heal yourself, repel toxicity, and attract what you want into your life. That's what's going to happen on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So anyway, when you have this trauma, because Laura, what's happening is you have a crack in your spiritual foundation, and it's allowing unacceptable experiences and people to enter. Sharon, you are absolutely right. Sharon says, not sure they would be okay with the colorful language. That's why I actually got out of traditional counseling, because I was not able to be myself full on with my high beams, right? And I get very passionate about what I talk about, and language just comes out. I don't even intend it to, it just does. It's like telling me not to swear is like telling me not to breathe. Okay? It's not going to happen. So yeah, I'd probably get my certification license yanked away really quick. But my class would be really fucking popular. I bet you I'd have a wait list, because kids would be like, yeah, I want a real professor. So, okay. So when you have these unhealed wounds, it leaves a crack in your spiritual foundation, which is why when you're saying, why am I allowing this asshole in my life? Why am I putting up with this shit from people, right? This is not who I am. Well, you have a crack in your spiritual foundation, and they're seeping in through that little crack. Unacceptable experiences and people are coming through that crack. We got to seal that bitch up. Okay? Shine bright like a diamond with the mouth of a sailor. That's what Sharon just said to me. Oh, I like that. I don't know if it saves the comments, but I want to screenshot that. Sharon, can you screenshot that for me and send it to me so that I can post that? Because, I fucking love that. Okay. I'm going to give you an example of one of my babes in my 6-month coaching experience. I had this thing. You guys see that? It's one of those, it's a braces, invisible braces. And sometimes I have trouble talking with it. So anyway, one of my babes in my 6-month coaching experience. So she thought her trauma, she was in an emotionally abusive marriage. Okay. Emotional abuse is a real thing, you guys. It's something I talk about a lot. I have had firsthand experience with emotional and psychological abuse. Fucked with my head. Had to heal from that, right? Anyway, she said, no, I'm telling you, my trauma is because I am in a toxic marriage. Okay, while that's true that you might be in a toxic marriage, okay, it is a symptom of an unhealed wound created in childhood now showing up in your adult life, okay? That's why you're attracted to the abusive asshole. That's why you stayed with the abusive asshole long after you knew he was an abusive asshole. That's why you put up with unhealthy behavior. That's why. So instead of beating yourself up over it, I don't understand, why do I keep doing this, and why do I attract this, and why? I'm telling you why. I'm literally telling you why. It's so that you have a bigger picture, so you kind of understand. You stop beating yourself up over what you're doing, okay? And you start asking yourself, why am I doing it? It's not about the abusive asshole you're with. It's not about the mindless eating you're doing. It's not about, whatever it is you think it's about. It's not. It is not. I have found the secret, and this is what I'm sharing with all of you right now. The secret started in your past. The secret lies in your past. It does. Heal it. Seal it. Laura says, my crack is closing. Laura, I like you. Yeah, you got to close those cracks. Close your cracks, ladies. Close your cracks. I used substances to cover the crack for 20 years, and I'm finally healing myself from everything. Laura, well, this is interesting because I am a certified addictions counselor, right? I don't really put that out there because I did that before even my daughter was born. That's what I did. I went to college for counseling psychology. And yes, I now use everything I learned as an addictions counselor with my people now, with my women now. And Laura, I'm going to tell you something. If any of you listening ever went through an addictions program, part of the program is inner child. And this is interesting. I could not stand doing inner child work on clients. So much so that I told my boss, I'm like, this isn't for me. This is doing nothing. It's stupid going back into childhood. They need to deal with right here, right now, and planning for the future. They're going to use it as an excuse. Well, this happened to me in childhood, so that's why I do this. I was so resistant to it. Now, like my entire 6-month coaching experience, the monthly Zoom experience I do with women, the 7-week experience I do Worthy Woman, it's all based on inner child work. I don't even call it that, if you notice, right? I call it healing the unhealed wounds and unhealed trauma. I don't call it inner child work, but that's really what we're doing. That's really what I'm talking about. And knowing what I know now that I have done my own healing, my own inner child work, I see the value in it and I see why I was resistant to it. I did not want to go back and relive all of those horribly painful childhood experiences. No fucking thank you. No. Right? That's why I was resistant as a clinician to even do this with clients because of my own shit. And that's this is a perfect example. If you don't heal the unhealed wounds, you end up spewing your unhealed wounds onto unsuspecting and undeserving people. Or maybe they do deserve it. I don't know. But my point is I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Right? Because I didn't want to deal with it. And Sharon is saying, you attract what you think you deserve until you find out your true worth. Yes, exactly, Sharon. That's your North Star. That's what I call your North Star. Once you find your North Star, nothing is going to touch you. It can't. Because you know where you're headed. You got your North Star. Laura said, I feel the same. The inner child work I felt like was a crock, but now I know that's what I need to face. I didn't like their approach anyhow. Right, and I didn't either. That's why I didn't do so well in the traditional psychology environment with the professors and wearing a business suit. I mean, look, I have my freaking chakras. What is this, Eliana? I forget what this is. This is some kind of crystal that protects me. And I swear to you, if I don't wear this, I feel like crazy. Anyway, so yes, that's a big thing. And what we work on in Babes and Worthy Woman is, why are you having resistance, right? Okay, I'm going to tell you something else. When I first started with my coach, Tatiana Amico, I was so resistant to journaling. She wanted us to journal. And I was like, fuck this. I'm not journaling. Like, I'm not a writer. I'm not journaling. I don't want to do it. Again, why am I resisting it? Because I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't want to go back and relive those painful experiences. And this part of Babes, if any of my babes are in here, hey, my mom is on here. I was just talking about you, Mom, or maybe it's my dad. So a lot of my babes, actually all of them, and all of my Worthy Women, they are shocked, especially in Worthy Woman. They were shocked at how deep we went. One woman was like, I no idea we were going this deep. I had no idea we were going this deep. Like, it really just sort of blew her mind. And this is the work that's not fun. It's not fun to go back into your childhood and remember that you didn't have friends, or that you were left out, or that you were teased, or that you were bullied, or that you sat alone in the bathroom and ate lunch, right? It's not fun. And I'm not I'm all about sunshine and rainbows, you know, but this is the work that's yucky. This is the work that feels like your heart, someone's going to take your heart out, stomp on it, cut it into a million pieces and put it back into your chest. These are the tears that come that you feel like are never, ever going to stop, right? These are necessary to get you to the portal tears. The portal tears are the tears that get you out of one place and move you into another place. This is when you learn the lesson. You're not learning the lesson while you're going back and healing your trauma, and while you're crying those tears, and while your heart is being ripped out again. You're learning the lesson. It's like a waterfall, okay? Once you step through the waterfall, you can see the other side. You won't be able to see the other side. And some of you watching today, I can feel you. I actually feel your energy saying, are you out of your mind? I don't want to go back. I didn't want to live in that moment, that painful moment when it happened. Now you're asking me to go back and face it again? No, thank you, crazy lady, right? But I'm telling you, this is the key to attracting what you do want in your life. Going back and healing any wounds that happen. And it's the first wound that happened, right? So that you can cry those portal tears, move from one place to another, step through the other side and learn the lesson so it doesn't come back again in your life. Once you learn it, it's not coming back. And even if it might come back, but you're going to see it differently. You're not going to care anymore, right? Like now, if someone blocks me, I say, thank you, Jesus, because that person was not aligned with me. And you moved him out of my way for me. So thank you. Thank you for moving that person out of me. That's what's happening in my life right now. Is like that woman that blocked me. She could have blocked me months ago. I have no idea, right? And it was a gift. God was showing me that, Lisa, I got this. You are so aligned with who you are that I am moving them out of your way for you so that women who are aligned with you are coming in. Yes, Laura says it's a beautiful process. It's scary and shitty, but so beautiful. Yes, it is. Just like a waterfall, right? Like I used to live in Buffalo. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, Niagara Falls, right? And this is really weird, you guys. I always had dreams that like I was going through the falls. Mom and Dad, I think my parents are on here. I don't know if you ever remember me talking about this, but I used to have dreams that like I wasn't scared in the dream. Actually, that's not true. I was like a little petrified mid-waterfall. And that's what I'm telling you guys, that these portal tears, it's scary. When you're mid-waterfall, it is scary. You're like, I might die from this process. This hurts so bad. This might even hurt worse than when I actually first experienced this, right? You're mid-waterfall. I've got one of my babes right now who is mid-waterfall, and her body is purging everything. I mean, the woman got shingles. She got all kinds of stuff coming out every crevice in her body, right? She's crying and crying and can't stop crying. And I told her it's because you're mid-waterfall. Keep feeling your way through it, which this is all stuff we work on in babes, right? I don't just send them off to do this work on their own. Like this is all stuff I guide them with in babes. And then they have Voxer access to me, which is like texting. And this is the stuff that we work through. So anyways, that one woman that I digressed. The woman that I have several women actually. I don't know why. All of these women are coming to me that don't have weight to lose, like physical weight. Their weight is a toxic partner. They actually have like a couple 100 pounds to lose, right? Because they got to lose this jerk in their life, this abusive person in their life. And these women they argue with me at first. I'm telling you, my trauma is that I'm in this marriage, right? I'm in this abusive marriage. And I keep saying to them, your husband, like one woman, her husband is actually her dad, right? Her trauma started in childhood when her dad started controlling her. It's no coincidence that she married someone controlling, right? And so it's a way of like releasing it. Okay, this makes sense. Of course I married someone my dad controlled me my whole life. My dad controlled my mom. So like once we went back and healed that original wound, created, and it's not a blame thing. I'm not blaming her dad. Her dad has his own wounds that he needs to heal, right? But once she went back and healed that, she has now attracted a healthy relationship, a healthy man into her life who does not gaslight her, who does not emotionally and psychologically abuse her, give her the silent treatment, who does not run off with other women on whenever he feels like it, right? This is a guy, she has now attracted her ideal man into her life. But she had to do the yucky work first, right? Like I said, the really painful work to get to the portal tears. So, Laura said, I love how interactive you guys are. This is really, because this is one thing that I don't like about doing lives. Like, I'd rather have all of you on Zoom so I can see your faces and I'm very interactive and very social. Unlike the way I was when I was a kid, I'm social now and I enjoy interaction because I healed that inner wound. This is a perfect example. I would not be doing what I do today. Okay, I would not be talking to you right now. I would not be speaking in front of hundreds of women that I will speak in front of groups at a time, right? As my parents are on here, I was like deathly shy, but I healed the inner wound inside of me. And now this is what was waiting, right? This, what you see right here, is what was waiting, was hiding under all that unhealed trauma. Okay, so Laura said, re-experiencing is worse for sure, but it's like a wound. It's bad the first time, but when it reopens, it's deeper and needs healing from the inside out. Yes, and that's actually a tagline in my other business that I first started. Get the outside your inside always wanted, which is really what I help women do, right? I help you create this vision for yourself that you see inside, and I help you produce it on the outside, create it on the outside. So Laura said, I'm realizing my parents' marriage has taken a toll on my relationships with every person that have been close to me. My mom's behavior became my behaviors as I realized this lately. It pisses me off towards my mom. Then I remind myself she doesn't know any better. Yes, exactly. It's not about blame, right? You can have ancestral trauma. Ancestral trauma or generational trauma is just trauma that is passed down, not intentionally. It's not like your mom is saying, I'm going to fuck you up and I'm going to make sure that you have the same trauma I had. No, that's not what it's about. It's simply like kids learn by what they see, not what they hear, right? Kids listen to what we do, not what we say. So here's just a very tiny example, right? My mom was talking, I never knew this about my mom, but like I have a fear of going downhill anything. Like when I was training to run my marathon, my coach wanted me to like run down these stairs and I was like, no, I can't. It's too scary. Or like skiing, anything. I don't like anything where I'm going downhill. My daughter has the same thing. And then my mom tells us that she had the same thing. She had what was it that you had happen to you, Mom? Something happened to her. I don't know if she fell downhill. And so it's interesting, like that was just passed on. Now it's like my mom said, okay, Lisa, I'm going to make sure that you have a fear of going downhill. because that's the kind of mom, right? No, it's not about blame. So yes, definitely. When people know better, they do better. In some cases, like you do have some cases like psychopaths, narcissists, they actually do know better. Like they have a personality disorder like that, and they don't do better, or maybe they don't. I gotta think on that for a second. Maybe they do know better. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the point is, if you have that attitude, if they knew better, they would do better. Then you don't have to get so worked up about it, right? You don't have to be like have it like take over your life. And right, so Laura, you learned from your parents. You're probably playing out your parents' relationship in everyone that's close to you. And when I say it can show up in a different form. So, like, say you are in so say these women that I'm working with that are in these toxic marriages, right? They're being emotionally and psychologically abused by these men and controlled by these men. There's no physical abuse going on. Studies have shown, though, that psychological and emotional abuse affect the same area of the brain as physical pain. So when you are being emotionally abused and psychologically abused, a lot of times you don't even know it until after the fact, and you hear yourself telling someone how you were treated and how you were spoken to, and they're like, and then you're like, whoa, like that is not okay. Why would I ever allow someone to speak to me that way or treat me that way, right? Psychological and emotional abuse is very insidious, meaning it happens gradual, it happens over time, it usually happens behind closed doors. Like he can be the nicest, most charming man in the world, and then behind closed doors, he's demeaning you, degrading you, all of that stuff. So where was I going with this? So those women that once they realized, first of all, it's not me telling them, right? I'm not saying to them, I want you to have the realization, I think I'm being emotionally abused. I think I'm being psychologically abused, right? Because when you realize, it's much more powerful. And then we can go back and heal when that actually happened. So, and that is where the whole idea of it's happening for me, not to me. I have been through a lot of stuff in my life, and the most toxic thing I ever went through was a friendship that I didn't know when I was in it. Again, you don't know until after the fact, right? That this person was actually a narcissist, that he was also a psychopath. And I do this for a living, and I didn't even see it while I was in it. I was blinded to it. But that is the abuse cycle. That's what happens. So it's about going back. Like, how is it I allowed this person into my life, right? How is it I allowed, because I had that crack in my spiritual foundation, and I had to seal that crack. I mean, I sealed that crack shut. I'm going to seal a little more today, you guys. I'm actually very excited because I'm meeting with yet another coach who does what I do basically for a living. And we're going to go back and we're going to heal every single event that happened in that time, the abuse time that I was in. So I'm going to go next level with my healing. And then I'm going to bring it all to you. So remember that it's happening for you, that all experiences happen for you, not to you. Especially the ones where you say, why is this happening to me? Why? Those are the learning lessons. So let's see. Laura said she would tell us as kids that her behavior is nothing like what she went through, justifying her abusive behavior. She continues to want to live in that. So hopefully she will just feed off of me one day. Right. So that's just about setting boundaries with her and not taking on other people's stories. A lot of times we take on other people's stories and other people's emotions. Like I'm constantly asking the women I work with when they say, I feel shame. Okay, is that your shame or someone else's shame that you're taking on? as a lot of times it's not even yours. It doesn't even belong to you. You're taking on emotions that don't belong to you. And yeah, Laura says, all of this has been happening the last month. Laura, this is happening for you, not to you. It might be really hard to wrap your brain around that while you're going through this. While you're going through it is not the time you're going to learn the lesson, though. That's the time you're going to feel it. It's not about the story that's happening. It's about how you feel about what's happening. It's not about the details, right? In any situation, the abuse, none of it. It's about the feeling and where you're storing it in your body. And this is where women come to me, right? This is how I started off my career in this, is women coming to me with weight to lose. And that they were turning to unhealthy coping mechanisms to numb themselves out from the pain that they were feeling. Knowing it's unhealthy, right, but familiar. That's a huge, huge thing that I do in Babes. Huge. We work on, and it's not about the food. It's never about the food. That's why when I became a trainer, I became very frustrated very quickly, realizing this has nothing to do with the meal plan. This has nothing to do with workouts. It's much, much deeper. And that's why I would get very frustrated. I was the fitness director of a 6-week 20-pound challenge, and they would lose the 20 pounds only to gain it back. And I found it very frustrating. That's when I actually quit that job, because I knew it was deeper. I knew that the women I wanted to work with had healing that needed to take place, and that they were just going to keep going in this cycle, right, of losing weight. This is what would happen, though, is you gain weight only to lose yourself. Think about that, right? Every time you gain weight, you lose yourself. Literally, you're hiding underneath all of this fat. So, how long ago did I start this coaching journey? Let's see. I had 80 pounds to lose myself, hence a lot of healing, as you can imagine. And that was 6 years ago. I think it was 6 years ago, because my daughter was 10. She's 17 now, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And once I lost my 80 pounds, I hired a trainer to do it. It took me 2 years to lose 80 pounds. And I was like, this is what I was meant to do for a living. I just started talking to people in the gym, and they were like, you should do this. And the owners came to me and asked me if I wanted to be a fitness director. And it just sort of snowballed. I never intended on it, right? Just like I never intended on gaining 80 pounds. I never intended on having a brand new career because of my weight gain and then my weight loss. Then I ended up gaining 40 pounds back, which really pissed me off because I worked so hard to lose 80 pounds. That's when my healing journey started. That's when I tapped into everything that I'm teaching here today, that I teach my babes in my 6-month coaching experience, that I teach my private clients, that it's not about the food. It's not about the workouts, that I had so much childhood trauma sitting inside me, and I needed to heal that, right? Thank you, Laura. Yes. Have trouble losing weight since quitting smoking. Yes, that's very common. Smoking is a coping mechanism. Not healthy. You know it's not healthy, right? But you did it to numb yourself out, to calm your soul down, right? And a lot of times you turn to food then. If you went through an addictions program, it was, a remarkable, I used to get upset about it. I used to get worked up about it because I knew it wasn't healthy. Everyone, they're off heroin and crack and alcohol, whatever their drug of choice is, but they're all outside smoking. They never smoked before. Suddenly they're smoking. And then they get finally, off cigarettes, and then it's something else, right? Then it's sugar usually, or, just something else. So first of all, celebrate the fact that you did quit smoking. That's first and foremost. Like the weight, push that aside for now. And if you are turning to other unhealthy coping mechanisms, push it aside and celebrate that it's really hard to stop smoking. It is hard. I never smoked. My mom smoked, and I watched her go through all kinds of stuff to, finally learn how to stop. So it's not, and it's a coping, it's not about the cigarettes. You're using the cigarettes to help you numb out from whatever it is you don't want to feel. So Laura said she's a nurse for 10 years. Wow, 10 years. A nurse. Never thought I was in the wrong career, and then started healing myself, and now I found my purpose. Yes, that's so true. Gained 30 pounds after stopping drugs. Right, and it's about, that's where I saw like a crack in all the addictions treatment centers. Like the one, I worked at a very popular one, and celebrities went there, but it was either there or jail. And so when people don't want the help and they're there to only avoid jail, they're not going to see results. They're just not, right? It's just not going to happen. You have to hit your rock bottom, as you know, Laura. So I'm really, really proud of you. I hope you celebrate that you're drug-free, nicotine-free, and you gain 30 pounds within a month or two. All that tells me, if you stop drugs and you stop smoking or whatever your drug of choice is, and then you gain 30 pounds within a month after, that means hands down you still have healing to do, because you're turning to other coping mechanisms. You are lacking coping mechanisms, right? It's not even that you're lacking them, you're turning to unhealthy coping mechanisms to numb yourself out, because you no longer have the drug that you had before or the cigarette that you had before. So you want to numb out, right? Because it hurts. Healing hurts, and going off of drugs is healing. It's hurting. So you're going to turn that. And knowing that about yourself, though, you can change that. You can do something about it. Laura says, I celebrate my quitting all the time and give myself grace about the weight, but sometimes it bothers me. And yes, cigarettes were my companion. When I smoked the very last one, I bawled my eyes out and I felt I was breaking up with someone. Laura, I see that with the women who I help. I say shed weight. One of my clients corrected me once when I kept saying lose weight. She said, Lisa, it's Donna Phillips. Donna, if you're watching. Donna said, losing weight implies you want to find it again. I don't ever want to find this again. I want to shed it and be done with it. So yes. So when I don't take anything away, right? But when I used to just simply do meal plans and workouts, and I would hand them a meal plan, and they look on the meal plan and they'd be like, yeah, but wine isn't on here. Sugar's not, my donuts aren't on here. My potato chips aren't on here. And they would tell me that they felt like I was literally taking away their best friend. And I was taking away their best friend. And that was very much me being in an addictions model, helping, I was still in that mindset, right? Because that was my training. I have now gotten myself out of that addictions model of treating women, healing, helping women heal, and I allow them to heal themselves instead of me imposing it on them, right? I actually want them I ask them to eat clean for like a couple weeks so that they know the difference between how they feel eating clean and how they feel the way they used to eat. And I actually want them at some point, I don't tell them this, to stop eating, to like eat something, like maybe pizza and beer was their thing before, right? So they've been eating clean for like a month. Suddenly they eat pizza and beer, they feel bloated and disgusting. Well, you're not going to know that unless you actually do it, right? You're not going to know how bad you feel comparatively unless you do it. It's just like we don't know happiness unless we experience sadness, or like the whole rainbow after the storm analogy. You're not going to have a rainbow unless you have a storm first. Anyway, I have an appointment now with my new, I don't even know what she's called. I don't care about anyone's title or anything. I don't. I just care about healing. And I'm going to take my healing to the next level. And then I'm going to share it with all of you. So I'm very excited about doing this. So I will see you next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 11:30 a.m., same time, Eastern Standard Time. I'm in New York City. I'm ready to leave New York City. And I'm going to give you 3 steps to healing yourself and attracting what you want into your life. You're going to be blown away. You're going to be like, this is so simple. How could it be this simple? If you don't want to wait until next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, join Babes. Join Babes today. Don't wait. Or message me and we can do private sessions until then. I say the only thing worse than waiting years to change your situation is waiting years and 1 second longer. Don't wait 1 second longer. Message me. We will figure out a plan for you. I love you. Today's Wednesday. Have a Wednesday that matters. Not a nice Wednesday. Have a Wednesday that matters. Because you